Alright, here's a little bonus. I opened up one of the panels on the stage for my ITG2 dedicab, and just want to show people what the inside of these things look like. I'm sure there's a lot of references out there for DDR machines, and I'm sure there's others out there for ITG, but just to make sure there's more options of it open, and who knows, maybe a few of you came here looking just for this. So this is the left arrow on the right side, or the two-player side of the ITG2 machine. Pretty much they're very similar in structural setup to the DDR cabinets, or at least the older DDR machines. But the In the Groove 2 is slightly different in a few ways. One is DDR has a neon tube here that lights up the stage. ITG has a cold cathode fluorescent lamp, this guy right here. I'm just going to warn you, it's extremely fragile. So when you do open this thing up, be very careful about this thing. Just a little bit of pressure can snap that in two and it's gone. So that's just a fair warning, first and foremost. Second off, I'll just show you how these sensors work. A lot of new players don't understand how, like when they're playing and it's not registering, or it's missing arrows because it's stuck down, how that works. But here, this little piece I'm touching, this dark gray thing, or light gray thing here, this is the sensor. You push down on it with the brackets. When the panel's on it, it pushes down on these brackets here, and when you push down hard enough, it triggers the sensor. The brackets are held in place by these 3 screws, which let it move up and down, and slightly. I mean, obviously in play it should only be moving up and down, but on some older machines, these have almost completely come unscrewed, or they're not tight, or the bracket could be like bent like this, which is really bad because then, you know, it's not obviously putting pressure down on the sensor like it should. So anyway, just some suggestions for people looking to fix their DDR cabinets or In the Groove cabinets at their local arcade, but don't know where to start. First and foremost is an unresponsive arrow. That's the most common problem. That's when, you know, you're playing, you're stepping, and you have to hit it really hard, or if you've tried the toe test, which is, you know, you push very lightly here, 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 or here, you know, which obviously is responding to the 4 brackets and sensors. When you do that, if you push down lightly here and it lights up, you push down lightly here and it lights up, but you push down like pretty hard here before it lights up, and that probably means it's triggering the other ones, not that. So when you get the machine open, you can come in and just push down on it and see if it lights up. My machine's off at the moment, so it's a pretty bad example, but if you push down, the light turns on, or if you're in the operator menu and you can see the inputs and it turns on, you're good. But you shouldn't have to push super hard. You know, it should be relatively easy to do. And if that's the case, where you found that you have a dead sensor or a sensor that's unresponsive, there's 2 things you can do. First off, it could be a dead sensor, and what you'll do, I'll do it with this guy here. You could take it and slide it out. I mean, if you want to be super proper, you undo the bracket and everything else, but you know, this is how I take care of mine. You pull it out like this, and then you just squeeze in the center. And you don't have to squeeze hard, just, you know, a little bit. And if the light lights up, or you get an input on the operator menu, the sensor's fine. It might be getting old, it might be less responsive, but it's probably okay. So what you want to do, if that's the case, and you need to get it, you know, it's not working like it should, but the sensor's still alive, you can do what's called the business card trick. In this case, I just have these green pieces of paper, but a business card would also work. What you do with the business card trick is you take this piece of paper, I'm sorry, I'm holding the camera while doing this, so I'll show you when I'm done, and you fold it lengthwise, like this. So yeah, you fold it like that, and if you have a business card, obviously you'd fold it multiple times, but you don't want to do it too much, because here's what you do. You take this, you slide it in the channel, underneath the bracket, and then you put the sensor back the way it is, making sure that this green paper is sitting underneath the sensor, pushing it up so it comes more in contact with the bracket. The point of that is, obviously, if you can't figure it out, it gives it a little more pressure so that when you're playing and you're stepping down, there's more of a chance of it actually triggering the sensor. I would start with half a business card. fold it in half and try that. If it's still not sensitive enough, put another one in there. The problem is if you put too much pressure on there, it'll be overly sensitive, and what that can cause a problem is you might be dancing on the machine and hitting other arrows, and just the vibrations could trigger that sensor to go off, causing you to miss a step, you know, that you didn't intend to hit. A way I test for it, and I'm a pretty big guy, so it's really effective. Other people might have to find a big person or just stomp really hard. What I do to test if any sensors are over hypersensitive, stomp really hard right there in the middle panel. Just put all your weight into it. It's part of the structure. It's not really going to hurt the machine. But if you stomp and you see any of the 4 arrows flicker, like they turn on, you probably have a hypersensitive sensor that you might need to tone down a little bit by taking a business card out from under it or something else, because otherwise, like I said, you might be playing a really hardcore song and doing jumps, and it might actually accidentally trigger that right, like, you know, a 16th note or something before you're supposed to hit a beat, and it gives you a way off or whatever. So anyway, that's something to be aware of. The other issue that a lot of times I see and most people don't know how to troubleshoot is a sticky arrow. Sticky arrows are very, very difficult to identify. Because usually they happen in 16th note streams. Like if you're hitting left, 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 and right in the middle of that you miss one, and you're like, well, what the heck happened? Probably when it's going, you're hitting left, 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 and for half a second or something, the bracket, most of the time, accidentally gets stuck in the down position until you hit it again. And that's why, you know, if you go left, 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 you miss one right in the middle. It's because it gets stuck, you hit it, it doesn't register because you knocked it loose again, and now it's counting again. That's probably too complicated, but long story short, if you're getting problems like that where you're missing continuous hits, like if you know, left, 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 up, 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 or whatever, and you're missing notes in there, I would open it up, check to make sure your brackets are all secured. These screws here are tightened. Most machines have a washer there to prevent them from being over tightened, but the bracket wants to be able to move freely. You don't want it to be stuck. And if something I've done, and it's helped out a lot, but it's not a permanent fix, is WD-40. Just spray WD-40 in between the bracket plate and the screws there, and that loosens it up quite a bit and lets it move more freely. That almost always alleviates the sticky arrow problem for me. Again, until a WD-40 wears out, which could be, depending on play, a month or 2 later. So anyway, that's my advice for that. So sorry it was pretty lengthy, but hopefully that was somewhat useful to anyone out there looking to repair their machine simply. So anyway, good luck. If you have any questions, comment.